Hello people, you're welcome to Pro Masterclass. My name is Tola Alabi, and in today's class we're going to be talking about what you need to consider before starting a YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be shooting this video from my car. I know it's not what you're used to on the channel. I usually shoot at home, but I decided to try something else today and just loosen up Pro Masterclass. I said this year I'm going to try to unbox Pro Masterclass and try out new things and experiment with new things. So give me some feedback as to what you feel about different things I'll be trying out this year. Now, I just dropped off my children at school, and I thought what better time to shoot a video than now, because I always have to deal with them going to bed before I shoot a video, or the dog barking outside. So this is pretty serene for me, so I hope you can get much from this content. So today we're going to be talking about what to consider before starting up a YouTube channel. And especially if you're starting up a channel that is aimed at helping or teaching people or advising people in a particular field. It might be design, it might be baking, it might be whatever it is. I have a couple of friends or people I know that have started up YouTube channels, and they don't get a lot of engagement. They get maybe 2 views, 3 views, at most 10 views, about 6 subscribers, 12 subscribers, and it kind of breaks my heart, I must be honest, because I'm a YouTuber and I know how hard it is to put out content. So it breaks my heart when I see people put out content and not get the engagement they desire. So this class, I'm going to be telling you the 3 things you need to consider before putting out content that is meant to teach people or encourage people, or even starting a channel that is dedicated to doing that. 3 things I considered before starting on Pro Masterclass. So the very first thing you need to consider when deciding to start up a YouTube channel or any platform, it might be a WhatsApp group, whatever it is, and you want to teach people or advise people, the very first thing you need to consider is your level of experience. You really need to think about what your experience is. Are you experienced in this field in which you want to advise people or teach people? Because people really look out for how experienced you are. That's one thing I really had to consider before starting up Pro Masterclass. I have over 15 years of experience as a graphic designer doing the business of graphic design, and I think a lot of people have been following me for a number of years now. So when I transited to doing building content to help people rather than using graphic design as a service, a lot of people could trust my content because they had seen my work, and they know that I have years of experience in the industry. So you must think about what is your experience. How much experience do you have? I see a lot of people start channels where they try to teach people or encourage people or advise people about a particular field, and they don't have any experience. They have maybe 1 year experience or a couple of months, maybe 2 years. I think that is too little for you to become a teacher in any field, and it might be very hard for you to gather an audience with very little experience. Well, the second thing you need to consider before starting up a YouTube channel is your level of exposure. How exposed are you? Now, a lot of people might confuse exposure with experience. Now, they are very different. Exposure is pretty different from experience, and I'll give you an example. If you want to start a channel about how to deal with clients, let's say you're a graphic designer, you want to put up content about how to deal with clients, and your experience, your only experience is working in an advertising agency or a design agency, and the only person you report to is your creative director, then you might be experienced when it comes to being a graphic designer. You might have years of experience in working in a design agency, but you have very little exposure when it comes to client-designer relationship, because you're always relating to your creative director. You don't really interface with the client, so you don't have exposure in that. So you might not be able to give out relevant content for people to really help people when it comes to relating with clients. So you need to think about your level of exposure too. How exposed are you? That you might be experienced, but you might have very little exposure. So think about it. Am I experienced with that exposure? Do I need to get more exposure in this area? I'm a designer. I've been working with clients since I started. I have very little experience when it comes to very little exposure when it comes to working in the office environment. So I don't really put out office content, how to relate with fellow designers in an office. I put out more on the design business, on how to relate with clients, how to present work, because that's what I have exposure in. So you need to think about what's your level of exposure before putting out content on exposure, and before starting a platform that talks or advises people on whatever field it is. Now, the very last thing, which is very key, is you also need to consider your level of expertise. Now, expertise is very important, and an interesting thing about expertise is that sometimes it can cover up for not having a lot of experience or a lot of exposure. Now, if you're expert at whatever it is you're doing, maybe you're very good at logo design and very good at graphic design, or very good at baking, very good at fashion design, whatever it is, people are always attracted to talent. And if you are good at it, then people would be drawn to your content, just basically from the results you come up with. So you have to think, do you have expertise, a high level of expertise in what you're doing? Now, I know a couple of designers who are good at a particular thing. It might be logo design, and they do not have a lot of experience. They might have 1 year experience, but they get a lot of engagement just based on the face value of their work. So you must think about it. Do you have expertise? If you don't have a lot of experience, a lot of exposure, you might want to leverage your expertise. So your channel would not be about how to relate with clients, but how to make better design, better logos. You might want to think about the process rather than the business side of whatever industry you're in. And that way you can get more of an audience without having to build so much experience or so much exposure. So those are the 3 things you really need to consider before starting up a YouTube channel in any field at all. Think about it. Do you have the experience? Do you have the exposure? Do you have the expertise? If you have all 3, then you're very good to go. If you have 2, then you're good to go. If you have 1, it might be good enough if you can sell it well. But think about those 3 things: experience, exposure, expertise. Those 3 things are very important when you want to start out content, and you will see that you draw a lot of audience. So if you have any questions concerning this topic we've just talked about, starting off a YouTube channel, if you have a YouTube channel that is not doing very well and you want to contact me, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message via WhatsApp. My number is on my Instagram page, so feel free to check that out too, and we'll talk about that. If you have any question on the business of design, please do let me know. And if you're not subscribed to Pro Masterclass, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next class.